Here come the Balmain Tigers out onto the field, and that sign there is in reference to Mrs. Joyce Lawrence, who's a patient in the Balmain Hospital, and all the Balmainiacs. I wish you a very speedy recovery, and a special hello to all of the nurses in the John Goulston ward. There's the Balmain team. Jack at fullback, O'Brien, Brasher, Courier and Chalmers, the three-quarters, Popsy at 5'8", and Neil at halfback. The forwards, Pearce at lock and captain, Maguire and Siren in the second rowers, Edmed, Elias and Roach up front, and the coach, Warren Ryan. Here's the South Sydney side. Mark Lyons coming out there, David Cruikshank chewing on the gum, Graham Lyons, Paul Roberts, and also, of course, Bruce Longbottom. And there's the South Sydney team. Cruikshank at fullback, Longbottom, Maven, Graham Lyons and O'Neill the three-quarters, Blake at 5'8" and Coleman at half. The lockers, Andrews, the second rowers, Chisholm and Roberts. The props, Fennick and Mark Lyons, and Sedaris, the young 17-year-old in at hooker, and George Piggins as the coach. Greg McCallum blows the whistle. Andy Courier gets the match underway here at Leichhardt Oval. Two teams that normally do really produce great games of football. But these conditions here this afternoon, probably against a free-flowing game. Off the back of the scrum, here's a chance. Neil's gone through. He's got the pass onto O'Brien. O'Brien for the line, and it's a try. Balmain are in front 4-0.
I think the referee's called it back.
No, he's pulled it back for the forward pass.
There's a neat piece of football. Nevertheless, down the blind side, Nick Neil scooting away, working here with Pearce. Pearce out of the ruck. That gave him the extra man. That got Neil away. He held up the pass, sucked Longbottom in, slipped it away, and it did look forward.
Chisholm, Lyons, he got it away well to Coleman. Here's Andrews. That's a good ball to Blake. Blake only just grabbed from behind by the Guernsey. Oh, a little tap to go on with from Fennick on Brasher. And now Blake and Brasher are into it in the back play as well, as they move the ball out through Paul Roberts. I think what happened there was
on the forward pass. He doesn't realise there's been a blow-up.
I think you'll find that finally the touch judges come on. What happened was Fennick gave Brasher a little tap over the head, and Brasher, as you'll see here, now you'll see Fennick give Brasher one here. See? Nothing too offensive, and I think you'll find that, well, Phil Blake, that was a lovely ride he got in.
It'll be interesting to see what the touch judge says, because Blake really was the offender there. He was the one who caused the whole thing to blow up. There was a bit of pushing and shoving, but he threw the first punch.
Last tackle against the Tigers. Neil, a little kick over the top, coming through quickly as Wayne Pearce, but Adam O'Neill did very well.
And he had to do very well, because Pearce was right after that ball.
Last tackle against South Sydney. Coleman, quickly, it wasn't meant for Blake, and Courier's towed it through. Now Courier's got pace. Courier will get to the ball first. He's probably played a bit of soccer, but he certainly won't get a run in any English First Division side with that attempt, but he has found touch.
Well, that's the second time we've seen South Sydney on the attack, and passes going loose, players running through, not knowing who the ball's for, and that time they nearly paid dearly as Courier towed it through. So I suppose it's just about evened up in terms of both teams having chances to score and not quite getting the ball over the line.
The Balmain have had to make 102 tackles, South Sydney just 76. Benny Elias, the top tackler for Balmain. Well, they've got 5 seconds left to do something here, Balmain, in the first half. Andy Courier, he puts the ball on the toe. Back there is Coleman. He was taken out after he put the kick in, and so the penalty will go to Balmain right on half-time. He'll have the shot at goal. I'm certain he'll have the shot at goal, won't he? Elias surely knows it's and Pearce out there, both looking at each other, but the clock has already said time's up.
There's no doubt about the penalty. Courier puts a kick in, and then he was knocked late by Graham Lyons. Ball rolling forward, penalty for obstruction, late tackle.
Just outside the quarter line, Courier, a couple of metres in from touch. There's the kick, it's coming around, it's there! Right on half-time, Courier puts the Tigers in front. They go in at the break, leading 2 points to 0. Roach. Oh, the way it went, the Brook's taken a bit high. Across the chest, says the referee.
I don't think it was a deliberately dangerous tackle from Fenwick. He certainly did go high, but he was just desperately trying to collar the player, David Brooks. It was high. It hit him across the chest, and then he slipped up a little.
Penalty against Balmain, getting up inside the 5 in attack. And so the penalty goes to South Sydney. Well, they've been warned, and he's even telling the players out there, Greg McCallum, telling the players that they're offside. So I suppose if you don't listen to the referee, you're going to get pinged for it.
Well, that time I don't think Balmain were even going to kick, so he is simply enforcing the rule, which is the rule that applies in all cases. Both sides have to be back 5 metres. I think it's a waste of time, really, employing that rule, except for to keep them back from chasing the kick. But if he's laid the law down, the players know what's required.
So here's South Sydney's chance. Longbottom trying to squeeze over. Longbottom's there! He's got the ball down, and it's a fair try. South's lead 4-2.
Well, Balmain must be kicking himself for their defence in that position. Souths have really turned a gift penalty into a 4-pointer, but how did Longbottom manage to crack the forwards' defence? Let's have a look at it. He takes the tap. Balmain forwards just hang off him a little bit. Straight through the tackle of Sirinen. The others come too late. The tap taken about 10 metres out or 8 metres out from the line, busting through Sirinen, and then he just simply seemed to shrug off a couple of tackles and fall over the line. They didn't go up to him enough.
His 3rd try of the year, and a vital one. And that's a shocking kick from Phil Blake. And I think that's been kind. Last tackle against the Balmain Tigers. Elias is 1 man off the ruck. He gets the ball and the hoists it high. It's a good bomb. It's coming down in the field of play. Going high. Oh, highest of all. Looked to be Chalmers, but he's just lost it. And Souths have come up with it, rather luckily.
It was a fine bomb from Elias, giving his chasers plenty of time to get through. It was very high, very awkward coming down near the post. Good position right on the goal line. And South just managing to save through Lions.
Chalmers got up, couldn't quite grab it. Had he grabbed it, it would have been a Balmain try. That's where you want the bombs. You want them to come down just in the field of play. Last tackle against South Sydney, and Blake can't get his kick in. That is good chasing. That is good football from Balmain.
Elias and Neil, the chasers.
Penalty right in front, 12 metres out, and Mario's going to the sin bin.
And Benny Elias points the direction. Plenty of rivalry between Elias and Fenwick.
Elias and Fenwick have been at each other since about 1982 when Benny first came in. And have a look at this. When the penalty gets given and finally Mario got his 5 in the sin bin, Benny told him where it was. Shouldn't give him any worries. And this should level the scores. The kick's there. And so Balmain draw level. 29.5 minutes remaining in the match. It's Balmain 4, South Sydney 4. Elias keeps it going the same way. Throws the dummy. He's gone straight through, Benny Elias. He's got support on the outside. But he can't get it all. Still going. Great skills from Elias. Great backing up from Roach. Last tackle against Balmain. They're only 18 metres out. Brooks without the headgear in a dummy half. It comes to Elias. Out it comes Neil. Popchi, forward pass, I thought to Brasher. The kick, anybody's ball. In the end, Maven's lost it. Brasher's got it and scored. It's a try to Balmain. Tim Brasher has scored the try and Balmain lead 8-4.
Well, Balmain desperately needed that try to break this deadlock. There's Tim Brasher. Good hands here. Remember, it was a Benny Elias break that got them into this position. Good hands. That was the one you called it possibly forward. It may have been okay, I think. Brasher puts the kick in. It comes off Steve Maven. He can't regather, and Brasher wins the race to the ball. Looked like he did get it down fairly. Seemed to ground it safely. All Tim Brasher is only young, still at school, but he has the thought here to put the kick in the air. Maven can't handle it. And then Brasher, does he get the ball down cleanly? I'd say so.
So his first try in first grade, he'll remember that one for the rest of his days. Courier, the chance to make it 6 points the margin. There's the kick. He's missed it. Still 4 points in it. 15.5 minutes to go. And it's Balmain 8, South Sydney 4. Of course, another win means 11 in a row. Beautifully picked up that by Paul Roberts. But at the moment, they're behind the 8 ball. There's 9 minutes left. It's still Balmain leading. And here's Longbottom. Longbottom's got the pass away to Paul Roberts. Back on the inside. Souths keep it going. Blake's there. Blake's got pace. Blake will score. Blake's racing away. Phil Blake, the boy wonder, will score underneath the posts.
Well, we said Souths needed a try. I didn't think it was going to come as quickly as that. It came out of nothing. But the brilliance of Phil Blake, the man to finish it off and bring it around closer to the post, which gives South the chance to get in the lead. Maven manages to keep it alive. Out it goes to Cruikshank. He pushes away from Sirinen. Ben Longbottom was the one who suddenly turned it into action. Good work there by Roberts. Maven into the action once more. And then Blake streaks away from Brooks. Blake going all the way, chased hard, but Steve O'Brien couldn't get to him, and Blake, you could always see, wanted to stay on his feet to bring it round behind the post. Great hands by South. Plenty of players keeping the ball alive. They're fast out wide. They haven't seen that much of the ball today, but this time they did, and they just managed to cut the defence to ribbons. But look at Blake, a mercurial player if ever there was one, over the line and around to set up the conversion, which will put them in the lead if it goes over.
Phil Blake
Hurt at the end there too.
now with his 8th try of the year, equal leader in the top try-scoring division. Ellison. Mark Ellison, the kick at goal is successful. South Sydney are in front, 7 minutes 50 seconds left on the clock. South Sydney are leading Balmain by 10 points to 8. Last tackle against South Sydney. The seconds are ticking away. Not very long left in the game. Ellison kicking for touch, and that's a good kick from Ellison. Look at this. 5 metres out from the corner post. Driving play deep inside Balmain's territory, and that for mine is the ball game, unless Balmain produce a miracle when they win this scrum.
Ellison's been a handy replacement.
They're not going to even pack the scrum. The game is all over. It's all over here at Leichhardt Oval, and a great performance from South Sydney.